Hi, I am Guillermo Mendoza, and I am a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
It's time once again for another ResultsLeader.fm. Yes, indeed. This is the only show on the internet dedicated to the men and women who are getting results for their clients. Welcome back to another edition. Today, I have global speaker, executive coach, ICC master trainer, and a guy who turns managers into leaders, Mr. Guillermo Mendoza. Let's jump in. Guillermo, welcome to the show. Are you ready to rock this thing?
Thank you, ready. Thank you for having me, Jonathan.
Well, I am glad you're here, and let's reward our listeners with a very quick win. What book have you given most as a gift?
Well, the one that I have given most as a gift because of my work is a book by Marshall Goldsmith called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And I love the book because Marshall starts with this idea of maybe you are in this successful, a good executive position, not because you are so good. Maybe it's just luck. Maybe it's just because you were with the right people at the right moment. And now what you have as behaviors is preventing you from going to the next level. So it's a great book because it has 20 behaviors that show leaders what they need to stop doing so they can go to the next level. And the reason I have used it a lot as a gift is because in coaching, we say that sometimes we have uncoachable people, like a joke. Everyone could be coached, but we say it like a joke because in high-level positions in organizations, like in C-suite or vice presidents, sometimes in coaching, they are like, well, I don't know what to work on. I'm so good. I'm good at delegating. I'm good at recognition. That's why I'm here. I really don't know what to work on. And I give them that book, and then they come back the next session. They say, well, you know what? Yeah, behavior number 7, number 9, and number 14, I need to work on those. So they always find something that they really are not doing the right way. They think they are because it's to get results in the company, but they are not realizing that it's preventing them from engaging with people and developing leaders and becoming leaders themselves.
So there's a couple things I want to play with there. Number one, have you ever given the book to anybody and they bring it back and say, no, I'm still perfect?
No, never. They always find something.
And you said a couple times, next level. Can you define what next level means to you?
Yes, the way we define it is that in organizations, I see 2 big thresholds. The first one is you are an individual contributor. You study something at university, you go to work for someone, and you are an expert on whatever you do. And then if you do it right, they promote you to be a manager. Usually the wrong way because they don't teach you to be a manager. They just promote you. Then you start being a manager, you're doing it sometimes wrong, and they send you to take some management skills, but you move from individual contributor to being in charge of people. That's the first threshold. But then as a manager, you learn to work in a certain way that gets the results, but is not developing people. So to me, the next threshold is now you need to move from manager to leader, because a leader is still focusing on results, but is developing new leaders. And that's the definition that we have, accelerating leadership, turning managers into leaders.
Beautiful. Tell me a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Well, one that I had is that once I had a company where after about a year and a half or 2 years of operations, I was not getting along with my partners. We were not having the same goals. We split. I saw it at the moment as a failure because I was finally independent with my own business. And I started doing back just consulting on my own and had to go back to another city where I moved out from. And all that was like a big cloud until, thanks to that, I reconnected with some relationships and I landed a job in Microsoft Corporation, which gave me a 10-year career of learning a lot about sales and marketing and leadership. And it was a great gift that I had in my life working for that company. It wouldn't have happened if I would not have failed with my business and split from my partners.
So then you went and worked the corporate route. So you were an entrepreneur, then went the corporate route. You're an entrepreneur once again. So how does that all work out?
Beautiful, beautiful, because I think that career and the jobs that I had after that just gave me more experience as a manager, as a leader. So when I am now offering that in my business, because what I do is leadership development, when we do that, it's not bookshelf, it's not theory, it's not books, it's my own experience of how to deal with people, how to grow a business, how to do things. It was beautiful the way it worked, because one of my jobs in Microsoft was business developer for Central America. So it was like an entrepreneur with big pockets, because I was in charge of finding the building, the first employee, and I opened the subsidiaries in Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Panama. And it was not my money, but I was working as an entrepreneur opening offices international. So
earn while you learn, eh?
Yeah.
What would you say is the most worthwhile investment that you've ever made?
It is and continues to be knowledge, education, training, reading, workshops, everything that keeps developing my brain and getting new resources. That's the very best investment. Actually, when I was working in Microsoft, one of my managers gave me the gift of reinforcing this by telling me, there is one thing that no one can take from you in life, and that's your knowledge, that's your learning. Everything else could be taken away, but that is yours forever. So I think that's always been my best investment.
So I've heard it said before that knowledge without application doesn't really serve a purpose. What would you say to those people?
I agree 100%. I think that if you are collecting knowledge, then it's like material things. If you are collecting theories and reading books and going to workshops, you don't do anything with that. You are just collecting another set of things, like the way you collect mugs that you don't use for your coffee. So it's the same thing. You need to apply it. You need to use it. You know what? I train professional coaches, and I tell them when they graduate from the program, I tell them, it is selfish if you don't use this gift that you got, this knowledge that you got, to now launch your business and grow your business and coach as many people as you want, because it would be selfish. You got the knowledge, you know how to do it. If you don't work now to make it available for more people, you are not delivering the gift.
How do they respond to that selfish comment?
I think that it helps people to reframe, because you know what? People sometimes they want to be an entrepreneur, they learn something, they want to launch their business, but then they are hesitating. They think that they maybe are not well prepared, or they are an imposter, or that even culturally, some cultures, we have this idea that becoming a millionaire is a bad thing. You become a bad person.
What?
Yeah. And in some cultures, that's even in an unconscious level, that's preventing them from being really successful. So I think that when you reframe that to, if you don't become as big as you can with your company and millions of clients and people and money, then you are being selfish, because you are not giving away what you have. You are not making that exchange. And I think that helps them to reframe that.
I have to ask you, did you grow up with that programming of maybe being a millionaire or being filthy rich is bad? Did you have that at all?
Yes. Yeah, I'm from Mexico. And in Latin...
How'd you break free of that?
Latin cultures and other cultures have this idea of rich people are sometimes bad people. So we don't think about it, but in an unconscious level, it's like, if I become rich, then therefore I will become a bad person. So there is something blocking your brain to create those results. And you need to realize that you have that bad programming and switch it and say, well, this thinking is not helping me. It's actually creating my problem of not growing my business or not being more successful. I need to switch that programming to the one that works.
When did you first realize that the programming was messed up and you had to reprogram?
I remember, I think it was young adult. I think it was in my 20s when I took again, learning and workshops. I took a training that was called the entrepreneurial theory or something like that. And it got my attention how this guy explained that even the countries that have had cities in the sea, like ports, are more successful economically than ones that haven't developed that. And if you see Mexico, the largest city in Mexico is not in the sea. Is in the center of the country. And the cities in the sea are not as well developed. And just got my attention of, oh, wow, this is like a... And then he also mentioned even another aspect from religion, like saying in some religions, it's the heaven is for poor people. So then if you become rich, you are losing your
You're in
path to
trouble.
heaven. So it was a super interesting workshop when I got those ideas. And I said, well, that's true. It's true. People that are living in the sea are not developing a big city, are having countries that are less developed. And also people that have this chip in their mind that if I am not poor, then I won't get to heaven. And all this mix of ideas is not conducive to success and economical and financial success. So that's when I realized, and I said, no, this programming is not the right one.
Yeah, man. So in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
I think is related to what we are discussing. In the last 5 years for me is this idea that I really need to be super strong, super intentional in retraining my brain, that it requires deeper work. I think there are so many people out there offering personal growth, personal improvement, grow your business. And then people think that because they write down some affirmations and they stick it in the mirror and they read them every morning, that they will be successful. And it's not. The brain is like this slave that is following all my instructions, even the ones that I don't want to give, like thinking these ideas that we were discussing. And the brain will say, okay, you're thinking that is going to be hard, we will make it hard. So the brain is always trying to find harmony. So when there is this dissonance between what I think could be my reality or what I want to be my reality, but what I'm really thinking, the brain is like, this doesn't match. So you think it's hard? Okay, I will make it hard for you. You think it's going to take longer? Okay, I will make it take longer. So it's always your own sabotage, is your own enemy. So I think the most important thing that I have been working on in the last years is on not being naive that because I have an affirmation or a ritual in the morning or my gratitude journal, or because I watch an inspiring movie or go to a motivational speaker, all those things are great, but they are not enough. You need deeper work, convincing your brain, flowing with, this is a reality. And I joke with people when I give presentations that I need to turn around to this other Guillermo that is my brain just sparking ideas and tell him, no, you're fired. That's not the way. We are really getting this. This is the way it's working. And if you are not strong enough, the brain is not going to follow. So I think that's the best thing that I have been doing recently.
What are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
I guess the most common one is on fixing leadership in organizations through trying to make better leaders by having them learn, adopt leadership styles to work with their people, or to try to do team building activities or things like that. And I think it's a bad advice because they don't realize that things don't change, because the first step in leadership is not to lead others, is to lead yourself from where you are to where you want to be. So I think sometimes organizations and leaders are skipping this important step of first get the insights about your communication styles, your behaviors, the language that you use, your emotional skills. First get those insights on where you are. First start working on changing yourself. Sometimes that means changing the way you speak, the way you behave, different things. And when you change, then you can start leading others. And then you can create an engaging team and people working better for you. I believe it's a bad recommendation to go to work with a team because they are skipping that important step. So sometimes I tell them, forget the team. Just forget a team. Work in the individual first. Work in the leaders first.
What do they say to that?
Yeah, the leaders need to know themselves first, make adjustments, work hard on creating those adjustments, retraining the brain on those things, having new settings, new mindsets, and then they can be better leaders.
You get pushback on that?
No, because I think when I deal with people in HR or some high-level directors, VPs, they realize, the problem with this person is himself or herself, is that they need to change something in their behavior. They need to change something in their language. And when they do that, they will get better results.
How do they take that, though? Because the HR brings you in, the corporation brings you in, the individual maybe didn't bring you in. So how do you build trust for them to say, I need to work on myself? Like, how does that look?
Well, the good thing is that many years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, coaching was a corrective measure. So it was like bring a coach to save him because we are going to fire him. But that changed. Now I would say that maybe 10% of the engagements is because they want to correct things. The other 90% of the engagements is because they want to take that person to the next level. So it's prepared that person for promotion to be the leader up there, or because it's a high potential. So they know that now. They know I'm getting this perk from the company because this is not cheap, and they are grooming me to be the next VP or the next CEO or whatever. So it's a better reception on that. But in the few cases where they think, well, why are they putting me through this process, or they get concerned with that, the way I disarm them is by just saying, well, you know what, regardless of the company motives for this is expensive. This is an expensive service that you're getting. So use it for your advantage. What do you want to improve? This is about being a better you. What do you want to improve? Because the money is coming from the company, not from your pocket. The company is paying money for you to be better. Take advantage and use it for whatever is useful for you. And again, that works most of the time. Yeah, 100% of the time, they have said, yeah, you're right.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into this show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media. Share it on your email. Share it anywhere. Hashtag resultsleaderfm. Now let's jump back into the interview. Why do results matter?
When I got certified as a professional coach about 13, 14 years ago, I had an excellent teacher, and she used to say, if there are no goals, there is no coaching. If there is no execution and results, there is no coaching. But I think that applies to life, not only to coaching. If you don't have a clear idea of what you want and you don't execute to get those results, then it's like what we were saying with the collections of the mugs or the collections of the learning. You are getting things, but you're not getting anything. So results are your proof that you are applying something, making it work with your perseverance, with your work, with your techniques, with your knowledge. And when you make it work, you get those results. Those results are like the confirmation. Okay, you got it and you did something with it, and this is your result. If not, you are not getting that confirmation. So I think they are super important.
What area of your business would you like better results?
I think it always comes to this idea that I told you about reaching more people, about growing. And growing could mean different things. Sometimes it's about bringing more volume and operations and getting extra people to help with things. Sometimes it's about more delivery mechanisms of the content that we provide or the services. Sometimes it's about better marketing to reach more markets or reach more people. But in general, I would say that the main thing is growth or scaling the business to reach more people with the gift of the transformations and services that we provide.
What results are you most proud of?
I would say that at the personal level, retraining my brain. That's why after spending 30-something years in the IT industry, I moved back to personal growth, personal development, found coaching. Because when I was a teenager, I was a fan of how the brain works and personal growth, personal development. So finding this industry, let's say, about helping people or helping businesses has been to me going to my passion when I was a teenager. So I am really happy to being able to retrain my brain, work on myself, work on different transformations, continue working on myself, and then again, passing these to more people. And also, I guess in the entrepreneurial side of it, this is my 9th company, and it's the one that is 12 years old and growing. So I'm proud also of perseverance as a quality for success.
Any parting thoughts you'd like to share with the results leaders who are listening to us right now?
I'm going to repeat them, I guess, because for me, one is never give up, is perseverance, is finding what didn't work and trying again, and finding the alternate route, the plan B, whatever is needed, the additional resource, the additional contact. tweak and tweak and tweak until you get it. Never give up because it's possible. So that's perseverance. And then the other one is don't be naive thinking that just some positive thinking will help. You need to work really hard with your brain to get it to understand that this is the reality that I have in my life. This is the successful business. This is the result. This is really happening. What you want is to convince your brain that all this is true. So the brain says, well, now the dissonance is on the other sense. It should be all okay and it's not okay. So I will help you and I will make it okay. And then you start, that's what we call start flowing with life, because when you convince your brain to do that, suddenly the phone rings and it's an old friend that has business for you, or an old customer, or you get an invitation to something else and things start coming and you say, wow, what's happening? Well, finally you convince your brain to be your ally instead of your enemy and working with you to create a reality that you want. So don't be naive on just some morning affirmations.
I like the way you switch the programming so the brain works for you instead of against you. That's perfect. I know our listeners are going to want more from you. Where can they get it?
Well, my company is Impact Coaching Solutions, and the website is ICS, the acronym of the company, icscoach.com. That's our website. And my number is 832-334-3583. I'm available by phone, email, guillermo@icscoach.com. We love to chat with people because the two things that we do is we train professional coaches for the international coaching community, for people that want to become life coach, business coach, executive coach. And then the other side of our business is we help large organizations and medium organizations to develop their leaders with assessments, workshops, executive coaching one-on-one.
Excellent. We will have links to everything in the show notes. Thank you, Guillermo, for hanging out with us. And thank you, Results Leaders, for tuning in. Another episode is in the can. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.